He's a Hall of Famer. He is the voice of Sunday Night Football. He was on the call for the Ravens and the Chiefs. And this Sunday night, he's got Packers at the Niners, along with Chris Collinsworth and Michelle Tafoya. He's Al Michaels back on the program. Al, how you feeling today?
Feeling pretty good, Dan, for a guy who just basically got up, as you know. It's 8:22 out here, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for my close-up, but most of the audience is radio, correct? We're like by a 10-to-1 ratio, would you say?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And by the way, you're a Hall of Famer too. Or wait a minute, or you just won that. I saw you won the award. You did a podcast, but you were saying you were not happy about getting the award because it meant you were closer to the finish than the beginning.
Yeah.
Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, Dan, you got to enjoy every moment.
Really. I know, but I'm so competitive, Al, that when I got the call, I thought, okay, you're going to go in the Hall of Fame. I thought they were calling to say you won Sportscaster of the Year, not you're going into the Hall of Fame. So you know how this is. It's a young man's game, and you're trying to, you're trying to fend guys off and do this.
You're talking about the group in North Carolina.
Yeah.
That award. Correct. Okay. Remember this. I think I got into that Hall of Fame in 1997. Okay.
Yeah.
24 years later.
Yeah.
Dano, you got a long run ahead of you. Okay. Now this is therapy. Okay.
Okay.
Because I know you probably don't go to really intensive therapy.
Yeah.
So you listen to me, Uncle Big Al.
Okay.
And just hang with me, baby. Just eat meat and potatoes, no vegetables, and stop worrying about all this other stuff. Stop worrying about it. You have a long way to go.
Okay, but do you worry about your future? Well,
at this point, when they talk about long-term investing, and I love the market, I talk about like Thursday. Thursday's long-term investing for me right now. No, it's a little different. I used to sit there and think, let me do the math, and all of a sudden I'm at this point in my life, and yada yada yada. I can't do that anymore. I'm having too much fun, number one. And doing these games is still great. We're off and running. We did Dallas, Tampa Bay, which was great. You feel really energized after that. And the other game, the Sunday night game, Baltimore and Kansas City, is one of the all-time classics as far as I'm concerned. So you know what? I just kind of go back, enjoy the moment, look forward to next week, and not think too far down the line.
Best decision you ever made career-wise was what?
Interesting call. Well, I got very lucky early on. I would say, started minor league baseball in Hawaii, got the Cincinnati Reds job. So that was a decision made for me by them. Left Cincinnati to go to San Francisco for triple the salary. I left the Big Red Machine to go to a moribund franchise. But that turned out to be a pretty good decision because that opened the way for me to do Monday Night Baseball on ABC. The Reds would not have let me do any games beside their games, but the Giants said you can do network television. So that was a pretty good decision because that opened the door for ABC, which turned out to be 30 years. And I'd say the other good decision was when that 20-year Monday Night Football ended for me in 2005, I had to make a choice to stay at ESPN, to do it kind of their way, in a way, have John Madden leave me, and we'd worked together for 4 years, and Fred Godelli and Drew Esikoff, producer and director, who are still with me after all these years. That was a hard decision, but, and it was hard for me to kind of make that move, and that's where Oswald the Rabbit came in and all that other stuff that junk we threw into the equation. So I would say, there have been 3 or 4 joints junctures along the way where I had to make a choice, and it turned out to be pretty good.
What do you think about the future of like Peyton and Eli calling a game? Is that going to catch on with other networks?
I think to a degree, but Dan, I think when people want to watch a game, I think they're kind of into the game itself, and I think Peyton and Eli are 2 fantastic guys. I watched some of it in their first outing. It was fun. They bring guests in. It's different. It's somebody said it's a gimmick. I said it's a little bit more than a gimmick. It's a different way maybe to watch a game. But if the game is really compelling and you really want to watch the game, I want to know the guys are there. I want to know certain stories. Peyton and Eli and their guests can bring you a certain vantage point But I think if you really get them, I mean, if you're watching Baltimore and Kansas City the other night, and there's a secondary telecast, I think it can distract you from what's really happening in the game. You can still be a part of what's taking place, but you're doing other things, and you're not. Those guys are not physically together. They're not in the stadium, so it's kind of fun. I enjoyed listening to them for a while, but I went back to the conventional telecast most of the game.
How would you work with Peyton as far as doing play-by-play and then his ability to break down again? I know you work with Chris, but I don't know how different would it be with a quarterback in there as opposed to Chris Collinsworth?
No, he'd be great because I mean he's great at whatever he does, and in fact, at one point it looked like he might want to get into the more conventional analyst role somewhere, and may at some point. I worked with a quarterback, Dan Fouts, for a couple of years. Now, we had Dennis Miller in that mix as well, so that was a whole different animal. But I think Peyton is so smart. He's so sharp. He's so talented in so many ways that, he would adjust to it. And I think the thing with Peyton is that he'd immerse himself in it. The one thing Peyton does is he doesn't do anything half-assedly. He is 100% in, period. He wants to make it work. I did one of those Peyton places with him. He came out to LA and we talked about Monday Night Football, the years on Monday night, put the yellow jackets on, had some fun with it. He's terrific. I think when the time comes, if he doesn't wind up in an ownership situation, which could happen, he'll be great.
Well, I often tell people when they talk about Tony Romo and how good he is, I said, Nance has the hard job because you got to sort of grab whatever you can grab when you can grab it from Romo, because Romo is a jockey on a wild horse. And Jim Nance kind of has to grab it and then kind of plug it back into the game. Is that a fair assessment?
I was a jockey on Dennis Miller's wild horse. I know what that.
But, okay, what was the wildest moment, though, with Dennis Miller? Where you go, oh, my God.
Well, he would come out with some lines that were just, I mean, it would just blow me away, and I'd start laughing hysterically. And that's sort of a disjointed thing for the audience because, you get the crowd noise and people are talking. We had a 3-man booth. The greatest line, though, he ever had, though, the miracle at the Meadowlands game in 2000, when Miami had a 23-point lead fourth quarter against the Jets. Jets tie the game with Testaverde. Miami goes down the field. They score to take the lead in the final minute. Testaverde leads the Jets back down the field to tie the game and sends it into overtime. So, and remember, they tied the game with just a few seconds left in the game. My call was something like, Testaverde back to pass. He hits Jumbo Elliott in the end zone. The tackle eligible, Jumbo Elliott for the touchdown. It's the first touchdown of his career. He's been in the league like 11 years. It's the first catch of his career. Dennis, matter of factly, says, couldn't keep him down forever. So Dennis had some fantastic lines. He was a lot of fun to work with. It was different. Dennis was a guy who some people say, "Oh, this is great. It's different." He's kind of like as Don Ohlmeyer, who hired him, said, he provided an element of danger, and I think that an audience likes an element of danger. And I think when you look at like Charles Barkley, in a way, and Charles has been there for so many years, and it's tremendous. It's a treat. But there's an element, you don't know where he's going to go. People didn't know where Dennis was going to go. But, it lasted 2 years. Then we had the chance to get John Madden, and away we went.
He's Al Michaels. He's got the Packers at the Niners Sunday night on NBC, along with Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. Do people imitate you to you?
It's hard, I guess, because I really don't have it. It's not like imitating Cosell or Chris Berman or somebody, who really has a very distinct delivery. Mine is more, I guess, down the middle to a degree. The one thing, I get all the time is, the phrase I used 41 years ago. They still shout that back at me, but that's fun. Yeah. And we've talked about that in the past. The fact that, that it brought so much joy to so many people and it's still joyous. And even if they weren't born, they've heard the story, they watched the movie, they understand what happened. So that's kind of a fun thing. It's better than, playing back something where you really screwed up the call and they're playing that back at you. That's for sure.
I have one of the Danettes, Seton, and he does an Al Michaels impersonation.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Let me hear it.
Okay.
Let me hear it.
Okay, here you go.
Well, it's very specific to one game because I noticed when watching Ravens Chiefs that you seemed to genuinely enjoy watching Lamar Jackson run the ball. And so there would be scenarios where you would say, like, Ravens, 5 wide, empty backfield for Jackson. He snaps the ball. There he goes!
Is that really? Is that me?
And there he goes! And there you go, take off, running down the field.
That's not bad.
I better go ratchet that down a little bit. I don't know, Seton. Hey, give me Collinsworth. As long as you're doing me, give me Chris. What do you think?
Now, see, look at what this guy just did. Now, see, that's what I love about football right there. I mean, look at this catch.
Give me.
What about Romo?
Oh, can you do?
Yeah, give me one Romo.
Jim, I think they're gonna run it. Jim, I think they're gonna run.
Pretty good.
Give me Al.
Hey.
Give me Al as his impersonation one more time.
Jackson under center, drops back, and there he goes.
Are you going to drop that from your repertoire on Sunday night, Al?
You screwed me up. You screwed me up this week. I know that. What do I do that with Aaron Jones? Maybe.
Yeah.
49ers don't have any running backs left, so I can't
That's
say
true.
one. And Garoppolo doesn't run, so it's got to be Aaron Jones.
If Trey Lance gets in.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Give Al what Al's going to sound like on Sunday night when Trey Lance gets in there.
Empty backfield, 5 wide. Lance drops back, and there he goes.
Beautiful.
We're in your head, Al. I'm sorry.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. It's crazy. You start letting all that stuff get into your head, you're screwed. I'm telling you. Oh man.
Hey,
I gotta have selective amnesia right now. Thanks, Seton. Really appreciate this.
great to see you, and have fun on
You
Sunday
too.
night. Thank you, buddy.
Hey, enjoy the ride.
I know,
be thinking about
I know.
Don't be Dan. Come on. Love you. You do a fantastic job. You're at the top of your game. You got 25 more years, okay? I'm telling you right now.
I don't want 25 more years.
All
Al.
right, you got 23. There he goes.
There he goes. Thank you, bud.
Be good. Take care.
That's a Hall of Famer, Al Michaels, Packers Niners.
If he drops that on Sunday,
that'd be great.
Career highlight.
That'd be great.